If rain stopped falling tomorrow, how far would you go to survive? Because thousands of years ago, entire civilizations answered that question with blood. And the name they whispered was Baal. But Baal was not a name. It was a title. It meant Lord, Master, Owner. Any god who controlled the rain, the storm, the very sky itself was called Baal. And in the ancient world, rain was life. It was the difference between a full harvest and an empty field, between a thriving city and a ghost town. Control the rain, and you control the world. This power was not just respected. It was desperately needed. Every cloud in the sky was a promise, and every dry spell was a threat. The people looked to their Baal, their lord, to deliver them from the ever-present fear of drought. He was the ultimate authority, the one whose favor meant everything. No rain meant no crops. No crops meant hunger. Hunger meant rebellion and death. Kings feared drought more than war. An invading army could be met on the battlefield, but a silent, cloudless sky was an enemy you couldn't fight. When the earth cracked and the rivers ran dry, the authority of kings crumbled. Because when the sky closed, people didn't turn to their rulers, they turned to the gods. And Baal answered. He was the divine solution to a terrestrial crisis, the force that could restore balance. In a world governed by the whims of nature, the worship of Baal wasn't just religion, it was a survival strategy. His temples became the centers of power, where desperate pleas were made and cosmic bargains were struck. Baal did not ask for love, he asked for results. His worship was not about morality or personal salvation, it was about exchange. It was a transaction. You give, and he provides. The relationship was brutally simple and pragmatic. Do you need rain for your crops? Do you need fertility for your livestock and your family? Do you need victory in battle? Then you must make an offering worthy of a god who holds that power. It was a celestial contract. The priests were the brokers, facilitating the exchange between the human and the divine. The more desperate the need, the greater the offering required. This system wasn't built on faith in the unseen, but on a tangible hope for a direct return on investment. The rituals of Baal were extreme. They involved fire, blood, and ecstatic sexual rites believed to awaken the dormant powers of the earth and the sky. The altar was not merely a symbolic piece of stone. It was a functional tool, a place where energy was focused and transferred. These were not quiet prayers whispered in a sanctuary. They were intense, primal displays of devotion designed to capture the god's attention and compel him to act. It was an attempt to manipulate the very forces of nature through sacred performance. But what happened when the rituals were performed, the offerings were made, and the sky remained stubbornly clear? What happened when the rain still didn't come? That's when another presence appeared, a deeper fire, a final price. Moloch. He wasn't a replacement for Baal, but rather the cost that even Baal would not touch. When all other offerings failed, when the desperation reached its absolute peak, the fire demanded what mattered most. Moloch represented the ultimate sacrifice, the point of no return. It was the final, terrifying option for a people on the brink of annihilation. If the Lord of the storm would not listen to pleas and offerings of animals, perhaps a different, more profound price had to be paid to break the curse of the drought. It was the darkest corner of this transactional faith, and here is the most disturbing part. Sometimes the rain came. After the final, unthinkable act, the clouds would gather, and the drought would break, and when it did, faith turned into absolute certainty. Because nothing strengthens belief like results. Imagine the psychological impact. In the mind of a desperate survivor, the cause and effect would be undeniable. The sacrifice worked. This horrifying success didn't just validate the ritual. It cemented the power of the gods who demanded it. It proved that the system of exchange was real, that the price, no matter how high, was worth paying for survival. This is how belief systems become embedded in the bedrock of a culture. Today, we don't build altars of stone. We build them with our time, with our relationships, with our own lives. We sacrifice our health for a career, our family for success, our peace for a fleeting sense of security. We pour our energy into systems that promise a return, a form of rain in our modern lives. Wealth, status, recognition. The altar is different, but the exchange remains the same. We offer up what is precious to us in the hope that the powers that be, the market, the algorithm, the system, will provide what we desire. The principle of transactional devotion is still very much alive. Baal never disappeared. He only changed his form. He adapts to the age, but his demands remain. And in the next episode, we will reveal the pact. We will explore the modern contracts we make, often without even realizing it. Subscribe, because once you understand the price, You can never unsee it. Thanks for watching.